that works, it has to follow a certain signature path. And so what is that? Well, it's called the golden mean spiral. And one thing that's very interesting is everything in nature follows this golden mean spiral. If you were to pick up a pine cone and look down it, straight down the axis of it, you were going to see the golden mean spiral. If you look at a shell, conch shell or any other kind of shell, and you look at it, it's the same golden mean spiral. Flowers, everything. And it's just basically a representation of how the energy flows through, and it's growing in that particular shape because that's how the energy goes, and that's the best way that it can align itself to the energy flowing into it. The golden mean spiral, I'm not that good at math, but I think it's like you do like a swirl around and it's say this diameter and then another swirl around and it gets that big. So if you add this one with that one together, you'll get the third one. And then the second one with the third one, add them together, you'll get the fourth one. And I think it's the same way with the angles. You get the angle of the little guy and the angle of the first one, the angle of the second one, add them together or subtract them or whatever, you'll get the angle of the third. And I can't remember what it's called, but I guess it's some mathematically, which I don't understand. Maybe I'll figure it out one day or somebody can explain it to me, but it's the same thing as like multiplying it together is the same thing, adding it. I don't know. Actually, I'll have to watch the video again. But so basically, this guy is saying that we want to try to emulate all of our buildings, make them look like golden mean spirals. Like the buildings in Russia. He didn't actually mention this, but that's what came to my mind. Those cone-shaped churches in Russia look like cones, and I think they even have little spirals coming down. And if we had actually buildings that look like cones and look like spirals, golden mean spirals built into the cones, that the energy would be able to flow through that, and it would just give us energy and the hyperdimensional energy of which our souls are a part of, and maybe our heartbeat gets its charge from, all feeds off of that, so it will give us more energy. And so he's saying that we don't want to be making buildings out of aluminum or steel, and we don't want to be making buildings that are square, because square and rectangle is a shape that just dissipates the energy. And one thing that came to my mind when I saw that video is I read this book called Black Elk Speaks, which was a diary written by a white guy, but he interviewed an Indian who was actually in the thick of all the Indian wars. He was at Custer's last stand. He scalped a bunch of people, and he was there. He was one of the guys who was thrown into the reservations, and he was saying that one of the main problems that the Indians had with the white people was, one of them was that they were obsessed with gold, and the other one was that they wanted to, when they captured them, they wanted to make them live in these square buildings, and he said it sucked all of the life energy out of them to live in these square buildings. They wanted to live in their teepees, their cone-shaped teepees. That's interesting. So anyway, man, I forgot to time myself. Hold on. Oh shit, I went over. Okay, so that's all for now. I'll do a part 2 after I see the video again. Bye bye.